dear Prep 1 students. Hope you're all fine today. In today's lesson we are going to take an algebra lesson which is the square root of a perfect square. Let's go first and see the definition. It's a very easy lesson, we just need to concentrate with each other. Let's go now and see the definition. The square root of a perfect square of a rational number a is the number whose square equals a. Let's have an example to clarify this more. For example, if I'm saying 9, I know that 9 is 3 raised to the power of 2. So the square root of 9 is 3, the number which I raised to the power of 2 to get 9. In other words, I know that 9 is 3 times 3. So the square root of 9 is the number that I multiply by itself to get the answer 9, which is 3 times 3. The square root of 9 is 3. Another example, if I'm looking for 16, I know that 16 is 4 raised to the power of 2. So the square root of 16 is the number which will raise it to the power of 2, which is 4. Square root of 16 is equal to 4. Or in other words, I know that 16 is 4 times 4. So the square root of 16 is the number which I multiply by itself to get 16, which is 4. So we can say that the number 6 is the square root of the number 36, because simply 6 squared, which is 6 times 6, gives me 36. So the square root of 36 is 6. The same goes for negative 6. Negative 6 can be the square root of the number 36, because I know that negative 6 is squared, or negative 6 times negative 6. This is going to give me 36. We have a positive square root for a number symbolized by this symbol. So I know that the positive square root, this is the symbol for it. For example, if I want to find the positive square root of 25, so I'm going to put the 25 under the sign of the square root. This means I want to find the number which I multiply by itself or square it to get 25, and this is 5. So the square root of 25 is 5, and this is the positive square root of 25. We also have a negative square root for a number, and it's symbolized by negative before the square root sign. So it is negative before the square root sign, and I put inside the number which I want to find its square root. So for example, if I am searching for the negative square root of 16, simply negative square root and write the 16 under the square root. I know that the negative is going to be like the same, and I'm going to find now the number which I multiplied by itself to get 16, which is 4. So the negative square root of 16 is negative 4. We should know that 2 square roots are fine for a number, and to find 2 square roots of a number, this is symbolized by positive negative square root. So here, for example, if I want to find the positive and negative, or the 2 square roots for 49, simply I'm going to write positive negative square root 49, which is equal to positive negative 7. Another example, if I want here to find the 2 square roots of 36, so I'm looking for positive negative square root of 36, and this is going to be positive negative, the number which I multiply by itself to get 36, which is 6. And I should know that the 2 square roots, the positive and the negative, are the inverse of each other. So positive square root 36, this is the additive inverse of negative square root 36. Here are some remarks which are going to help us while we are solving the examples. I should know that the square root of 0 is 0, and that it's meaningless to find a negative rational number inside of the square root or under the square root, because simply there is no rational number which I multiplied by itself and the result is negative. For example, here I should multiply 7 by 7 to get 49, or negative 7 by negative 7 to get 49. So here I multiplied the rational number 7 by itself to get 49, and the rational number negative 7 by itself to get 49. Also, we can say that square root of a squared equal to the absolute value of a. Simply, when we are solving those type of questions, the square root cancels the power 2, but only power 2. So the square root cancels only the power 2. For example, here, if I'm having the square root of negative 3 all squared, the square root is going to cancel the power 2 and only again the power 2. So this is going to equal the absolute value of negative 3, which is equal to 3. Again, I have square root of negative 4 over 5 all squared. We said that the square root cancels only the power 2. So this is going to equal 4 over 5. Let's go for remark number 4. If I have a square root a squared b squared, I can write it as ab all squared. So I want to find the square root of ab all squared, and knowing that the square root cancels power 2, so it is equal to the absolute value of ab. Let's have an example here. If I have a square root of a to the power of 4 b to the power of 6, this is equals to a to the power of 2 b to the power of 3 all raised to the power of 2. The square root cancels power 2, so it is absolute value of a squared b to the power of 3. We can say that, or we can do it by another way. For example, if I'm having the same one here, a to the power of 4 b to the power of 6, and I want to find the square root, simply go and divide the power by 2. So it's gonna be a to the power of 4 divided by 2, b to the power of 6 divided by 2, which is going to give me at the end a squared b cubed, which is the same answer I got here. So when you find a variable under a square root and you want to get rid of the square root, simply divide the power by 2. So if I have square root of a raised to the power of m, it's a to the power of m divided by 2. If x squared equal a, where a is greater than or equal to 0, then x is equal to positive negative square root of a. So we are going to use positive negative square root only in 2 cases. If he asks me to find the 2 square roots, or if I'm working with a variable, that is the only way I'm going to have positive negative square root. And let's go now for our binders and start solving. I would like you now to open your binders page 20 and let's begin. We want to find each of the following. In number 1, I want to find the square root of 16. So I have mainly 3 ways to find the square root of 16. Either I know that 4 by 4 is equal to 16, so the square root of 16 is going to equal 4, or I'm going to do prime factorization for the number 16. So 16, if I'm dividing it, I'm going to divide it by 2. I'm going to get the answer of 8 divided by 2. I'm going to get an answer of 4 divided by 2. I'm going to get an answer of 2 divided by 2. I'm going to get an answer of 1. And I'm going to take from each 2, 1. From each 2, 1. So this means that 16, its square root is 2 times 2, which is equal to 4 as well. Or we can find it using our calculator, and let's go and see. Here is the sign of the square root, so I'm going to press on it on the calculator and write 16, press equal, and here is the answer 4. So again, we can find it using that I know that 4 by 4 is equal to 16, or I can use the prime factorization and take from each 2 1, or I can go and use my calculator to find the answer simply by using this symbol, which is the square root symbol. Press on it, write the number, which is 16, and equal. Let's go now and solve the other example, which is number 2. Now I want to find the square root of 0.81. First of all, I know that 0.81, I'm going to write it in the form of a rational number, which is 81 over 100. We must know something very important. If I want to find the square root, for example, of a over b, I can distribute the square root on the numerator and on the denominator. So I'm going to have square root of a over square root of b. The same I'm going to do here. Here, now I'm going to find the square root of 81 over the square root of 100. I know that 81 results from 9 times 9. So I have here 9, and I know that 10 times 10 results 100. So 100 results from 10 times 10. So here I have 9 over 10, which is equal to 0.9. Let's go now for number 3. I would like to find the square root of 9 over 49. So again, I'm going to distribute the square root over the numerator and over the denominator. And let's go and see. I know now that 9 results from the multiplication of 3 by 3. So the square root of 9 is equal to 3. And 49 results from 7 times 7. So the square root of 49 is 7. Going now for number 4. First, I'm going to change it to be an improper fraction. So 25 by 1, this is 25. 25 plus 11, this is equal to 36. So now I have square root of 36 over 25. I'm going to distribute the square root on the numerator. So I have square root 36, and on the denominator, so I have a square root 25. I know that 36 results from 6 times 6. So the square root of 36 is 6. And 25 results from 5 times 5. So the square root of 25 is 5. I can write it as a mixed number in the form of 1 over 5. And let's go now for number 5. All what we have used in question 1, 2, 3, and 4 were positive square root. Now I am dealing with the two square roots, positive and negative. So my answer should be also positive and negative. I want to find now positive and negative square root 576 over 1225. Here we are going to use our calculator, and we will find that this is equals to positive negative, distribute the square root 576 over square root 1225. So this is going to be equal to positive negative 24 over 35. Now let's go for number 6, and here in number 6 he wants the negative square root of the number. So here I have negative square root 2.5 over 40. What should I do here? I'm going to get rid of the decimal. So simply to get rid of the decimal, what I should do is multiply by 10. And we know that when we are dealing with fractions, when we multiply anything in the numerator, I do the same at the denominator. So I have 2.5 times 10 over 40 times 10. This is going to equal negative square root 25 over 400. Distributing the square root on the numerator and on the denominator, now I know that 25 results from 5 times 5. So the square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 400 is 20. Don't forget that we should put the negative sign because we are dealing with a negative square root. So negative 5 over 20, and this is in the simplest form, equals to negative 1 over 4. I hope you get it now, and let's go for number 7. Again, I'm looking here for positive negative, so this means I'm looking for the two square roots of the number. Positive negative square root 16 b to the power of 8 over 121 h to the power of 2. So I'm going to find positive, negative, and let's begin. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Square root of b to the power of 8, we said that when I have a variable under the square root, I go just and divide the power by 2. So it is b to the power of 8 divided by 2. The square root of 121, this is equals to 11. And for h, I have h to the power of 2, so I'm going to divide the power by 2. This means now I have 4b to the power of 4 over 11h. When I'm working with variable, it's desirable to put it inside of the absolute value to make sure that my result is going to be positive. Let's go now for number 8. Again, remember that when I have a variable under the square root raised to a power, to get rid of the square root, all I should do is go and make a to the power of m divided by 2. I always divide the power by 2 when I want to get rid of the square root. Let's go now for number 8. 49, square root of 49, a to the power of 4, b to the power of 2 over 9. Again, I know that I'm dealing with a positive square root since there is no sign here telling me it's negative or telling me that it's positive negative. So I'm dealing with positive. Square root of 49, I know that 7 by 7 is 49, so it is 7. Square root of a to the power of 4 is a to the power of 4 divided by 2. Again, we divide the power by 2 when we want to get rid of the square root. And for b, I have b to the power of 2 divided by 2, and this is all over the square root of 9, which is equal to 3. I know that 3 by 3 is equal to 9. So I have here 7, a to the power of 2, b over 3. And again, we said that when we are dealing with variables, it's desirable to put it inside of the absolute value. I need now to have your attention here, please, in question number 9. In question number 9, I want to find square root of 9 plus square root of 16. To find the answer here, I must find each square root alone. So I know that square root of 9 is 3, plus I know that square root of 16 is 4. So 3 plus 4, this is equal to 7. In number 10, I want to find the square root of 36 plus 64. We cannot go and find, for example, square root of 36 alone plus square root of 64 alone and add them together. This is completely wrong. The first thing we do is we go and add the numbers under the square root first. So this is going to be the square root of 100. 36 plus 64, this is equals to 100. And I know that 100 is 10 by 10, so the square root of 100 is equals to 10. Going now for number 11, square root of 10 squared minus 8 squared. The same as I did here in number 10 while I was adding. I go first and find the subtraction and then find the square root. I cannot go here and say that the square root cancels the power 2. This is completely wrong because I am performing here subtraction. If I was performing multiplication, it's gonna be okay, or division. But since I'm performing subtraction or addition, I must go and find the answer under the square root first. So this is mean I'm having square root of 100 minus 64, which is equals to square root 36. Now I know that 36 results from the multiplication of 6 by 6, so square root of 36 is 6. And let's go now for number 12. And please, I would like you here to go and change this from subtraction to multiplication. Let's go first and find the answer under the square root. So here I have a square root 1 over 4 times, find first the answer between the brackets. 1 minus 3 over 4, this is equals to 1 over 4. Now I have a square root 1 over 4 times 1 over 4. We said before that the square root is the number I multiply by itself to get the answer. So if I have here two numbers multiplied together and they are the same, simply I'm going to take one of them. So this is going to be equal 1 over 4. Again, for example, if I have here 2 times 6 times 2 times 6, what is going to be the answer of the square root of this number? I am going to take from the 2 1 and going to take from the 6 1, so this is going to equal 12. So the square root of this number is 12. The same if I told you I want to find the square root of 5 times 5. Don't we know that 5 times 5 is 25? So I'm finding the square root of 25, which is 5. I only took one of them. Hope it's clear now. And let's go for question number 2. Find the two square roots. Since he told me find the two square roots, so I am finding the positive negative square root of each number. I want to find the two square roots for 64. This means positive, negative square root 64, and square root 64 is 8, so the answer is positive negative 8. Again, we put positive negative when we are dealing with the two square roots or variables. What's gonna be the two square roots of 144? It's positive negative square root 144, which is going to be equal to positive negative 12. And now I want to find the two square roots of 9 over 25. So again, positive negative, since I'm searching for the two square roots, square root 9 over 25. So it's positive negative square root of 9, which is equal to 3, over square root of 25, which is equals to 5. So it is positive negative 3 over 5. Going now for number 4, I have a mixed number. So I must go first and change it to be an improper fraction. 6 times 4, this is equals to 24. And then I go add 24 plus 1, this is equals to 25. So I have 25 over 4. I want to find its two square roots. Again, finding two square roots meaning positive negative square root 25 over 4. And this is equal to positive negative square root of 25 is 5 and square root of 4 is 2. I can write it in simplest form in the form of a mixed number by having positive negative 2 and half. Going now for number 5. I want to find the two square roots of 0.25. First, let's go and change it to be a fraction, which is going to be 25 over 100. So now I want to find positive negative square root 25 over 100, which is equals to positive negative square root of 25 is 5 and square root of 100 is 10. And this is going to equal in the simplest form positive negative 1 over 2, which is equals to positive negative 0.5. The last one here is number 6. I want to find 0.0049, the two square roots for it. Again, I'm going to change it to be a fraction. So it is 49 over 10,000. I'm going to find positive negative square root 49 over 10,000. This is going to equal positive negative square root of 49 is 7 and square root of 10,000 is 100. As a result, I am going to have positive negative 0.07. Hope it's clear now, prep 1. Let's go for the next page. Complete the following. I want to perform 3 over 4 times square root 16 over 9. So first of all, I have 3 over 4 and I want to multiply it by the square root, so I'm going to find the square root of this number. Square root of 16 is 4 and square root of 9 is 3. Here, those two numbers, they are the multiplicative inverse of each other, so the answer is gonna be 1. And let's go here for number 2. I have square root 81 over 49 times 14 over 27. I'm going to find first the square root of 81 over 49, and this is going to be equal to 9 over 7 times 14 over 27. This is going to be equal to 2 over 3. Let's go now for number 3. Square root 9 over 4 minus 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2 raised to the power of 0. The square root of 9 over 4, this is equals to 3 over 2 minus 3 over 2 plus, I know that 3 over 2 raised to the power of 0, this is equal to 1. So I have here again 3 over 2 minus 3 over 2, and I can put 1 also as 2 over 2 because I know that 1 is any number over itself. I'm going to have here an answer of 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. Let's go here for number 4. In number 4, I want to find square root 36 plus square root 16 equal to square root of what? We said before that the square root is the inverse operation of what? Of anything raised to the power of 2. So let's go first and solve here. Square root of 36, this is equal to 6. Square root of 16, this is equal to 4. So the answer is 10. I want to find the square root of those two numbers added together. So this means I want to find 10 squared, which is going to be 100. So the square root of 100 is equal to 10, which is the answer here. The multiplicative inverse of 4 over 25 under the square root in the simplest form. First of all, we are going to go and see the square root of 4 over 25. This is going to equal 2 over 5. Now I'm going to find the multiplicative inverse of this number. And I know that the multiplicative inverse of any number is the flip. So it's going to be 5 over 2. Number 7, the multiplicative inverse of square root 0.49. I'm going to put it in the form of a fraction, so it is 49 over 100. I know that the square root of 49 is 7 and that the square root of 100 is 10. Now I want to find its multiplicative inverse, and the multiplicative inverse is the flip of the fraction, so it is 10 over 7. Here I want to find the multiplicative inverse of the rational number square root 100 over 2.5. We said that I don't want to have decimals under the square root, so I have here 10 over 2.5. What I should do to get rid of this 2.5, I'm going to multiply it by 10. Since I multiplied the denominator by 10, I'm going to multiply also the numerator by 10. As a result, here I am going to have square root of 100 over 25. I know that the square root of 100 is 10 and that the square root of 25 is 5. Now, finding the multiplicative inverse of this number, this is going to be the flip, which is 5 over 10, and in the simplest form, it's 1 over 2. Let's go now for number 9, the additive inverse of the number negative square root 9 over 16. I am searching for the negative square root, so my answer is going to be negative. I know that negative square root 9 over 16, this is equals to negative square root of 9, this is 3, square root of 16, this is 4. So I'm searching for the additive inverse of negative 3 over 4. Additive inverse of negative 3 over 4, or additive inverse of any number, is the same number but in opposite sign. So it's going to be 3 over 4. And let's go now for number 10, the rational number 6 1 over 4 in the form of a over b all squared. First of all, let's go and convert the mixed number to be an improper fraction. So 4 times 6, this is equals to 24 plus 1. So 25 over 4 is the improper fraction, which equals 6 1 over 4. I want to change this to be written in the form of a over b all squared. So in other words, I am searching for a number which when I square it, I am going to get 25, or I'm going to get the square root of 25 in other words. So this is going to equal 5. And what number? I'm going to square it to get 4, and this is 2, or by other word, I'm finding the square root of 4. The same here in number 11. Square root of 25 over 64 is equal to square root of what squared? First of all, let's go and find the square root of 25 over 64. This is equals to 5 over 8. Now I want this to equal to something under the square root and squared. So this is going to be equal 5 over 8 because I know that the square root cancels the power 2. So it's 5 over 8. Number 12, square root of negative 3 all squared. We said what? Exactly, the square root cancels the power 2, only the power 2. And this is going to be equal the absolute value of negative 3, which is 3. Number 13, square root a to the power of 4, b to the power of 8. Don't forget, when I have a variable raised to a power under the square root and I want to get rid of the square root, it is the variable to the power divided by 2. So here I will have a to the power of 4 divided by 2, b to the power of 8 divided by 2. This is going to equal a to the power of 2, b to the power of 4. Let's have a look here at number 14. If a equal 1 over 4 or square root 1 over 4 and b equals 2, then ab equals, we know that ab means a times b. So I'm going to take away the a and write instead of it the value which he gives me for a. So I have square root 1 over 4 times, I'm going to take away the b and write the value he gives me for b, times 2. We said that the first thing we do is go and find the square root. So the square root of 1 over 4 is equals to 1 over 2 times 2. Both of them are the multiplicative inverse of each other, so the answer is 1. Hope it's getting easier now, prep 1, and let's go now for page 22 in the binder. If a equals negative half and b equals negative 9 over 8, then square root ab equal, this means I want to find the square root of a times b. So I have square root negative half times negative 9 over 8. This is going to be equal to square root 9 over 16, because when I multiply two negative numbers together, I get a positive number. Square root of 9 is 3, and square root of 16 is 4, so it is equal to 3 over 4. Number 16. 2x is equal to square root 36. Then x is equal. We said before that when I want to find the value of x, this means I want x to be at one side alone. So this means I'm going to go and move the 2 to the other side with the inverse of the operation. 2 times x, so I'm going to move it with division. This means that x is equal to square root 36 over 2. So x is equal to square root 36. This is 6 over 2. So x is equal in the simplest form to 3. And let's go now for number 17. If a is equal to 0.000625, then square root a equal, so I want to find the square root, take away the a and put the value he gives me, which is 0.000625. Okay, and this is going to equal the square root of this number. If I find it on my calculator, it is 0.025. As we can see here, he wants it in the standard form. So to put it in the standard or scientific form, I know that a should be greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10. I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2. Since I moved my decimal to the right, then I'm going to have a negative power. So this is going to be equal to 2.5 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. Let's go now for question number 4, and it's a multiple choice question. Now I want to find the square root of 9 over 16. We said that the first thing we do is going to change it to be an improper fraction. And this is going to be 16 times 1, which is 16, plus 9, and this is equals to 25 over 16. Now I am searching for the square root of 25 over 16. Square root of 25 is 5 and square root of 16 is 4, so it's 5 over 4. I don't have 5 over 4 in my choices, but I know that 5 over 4 is equal to 1 over 4. So the correct answer is number C. Let's go now for number 2. Square root of 10 squared minus 6 squared. We said that I must go first and find the subtraction under the square root. So I'm going now to have a square root of 100 minus 36, and this is going to be square root 64, which is equal to 8. Remember, since I have nothing written here, so I am looking for the positive square root, so it's going to be equal to 8, not positive negative 8. Number 3, the absolute value of the recurring decimal 0.4. The recurring decimal 0.4 is 4 over 9. So I'm finding the square root of 4 over 9. Square root of 4 is 2. And square root of 9 is 3. So 2 over 3, which is equal to 0.6 as a recurring decimal. Just put here a dot above the 6 and choose number D as the correct answer. Number 4, square root 18 times 10 times 10 times 18. We said that when I have a square root of something like this, I take from each two 1. So I'm going to take from the 18 1, and I'm going to multiply it by, I'm going to take from the 10 1. So this is equals to 180. So the correct answer is number B. I need to have your attention here, please, in number 5. I have here square root of a square root 81. We work from inside to outside. First, I'm going to find what is going to be the square root of 81. It's 9. And still I have a square root outside. So now I'm finding the square root of 9, which is equal to 3. So the correct answer is number D, 3. Again, when I have a square root of a square root, I go first and find the 1 inside and then put the answer in the square root. Let's go now for number 6. I have a square root 2 squared, which is equal to 4, plus 25, or square root of 25. I know that square root of 25 is 5, so this means I'm searching for square root of 9, which is equal to 3. I need your attention here, please, at number 7. If x over 2 is equal to 8 over x. Here we are going to use proportion. I'm going to make cross multiplication, so I should be able to find x. So x times x, this is equal to x squared. So x squared is equal to 2 times 8. So I know that x squared is equal to 16. Now I want to find x alone, so I'm going to find x, I'm going to find the square root of 16. We said that when we are finding a square root for a variable, this means I must have positive negative. So x is equal to positive negative 4, which is answer number C. Again, when I'm finding a square root for a variable, so I must have it as a positive negative number. Let's go now for number 8. If x is equal to square root 1 over 4, then x to the power of 3 is equal to, first I'm going to find x. I know that x is equal to square root 1 over 4, which is equal to half. Now I'm going to take the x, which is equal to half, and put it all to the power of 3. So I'm going to have 1 to the power of 3 over 2 to the power of 3. This is equal to 1 over 8, so the correct answer is B. The last question here, and it's question number 9. Square root of a plus b all cubed times a plus b. I have here a plus b all cubed times a plus b, so it's the same as a plus b to the power of 3 plus 1, which is equals to a plus b all raised to the power of 4. Now I would like to find the square root of a plus b raised to the power of 4. We said that when we are dealing with variables and I want to get rid of the square root, this means that I am going to divide the power by 2. So a plus b to the power of 4 divided by 2, which is equal to a plus b squared. So the correct answer here is number A. I hope it's clear now, prep 1. It's such an easy lesson, we just need to concentrate. Watch the video, and if you have any question, please come back to me. I would like to thank you all and have a nice day.